Even breweries even have these things. Water, like I said, go watch How It's Made. All those episodes, you'll see all that stuff.
Very cool.
High-speed equipment, hopefully that answers your question.
Absolutely.
At a higher level. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think with Raspberry Pis that came out too, IoT and even, some of the SCADA stuff is easier to mess with because now we have, stuff like the Raspberry Pi and GPIO boards and stuff like that to mess with. So that's really interesting. I think SCADA is probably one of the more interesting fields to get into when it comes to security, that and aviation. And I really want to dive off into satellite and space. It seems like that's probably one of the most popular places right now that SpaceX is up off the ground. So I'm going to open this up to 4 questions. The chat is open. So if you guys want to dump questions into the chat for Chris and Ryan, if you have anything, you guys speak up. And
what's the biggest misconception about ICS you face when trying to explain it to people?
I don't know if there's any misconception, but a lot of times people will assume that it's something you can just change, like on IT systems, like, hey, we can get a new computer every 5 years. Can't just do that with a control system, right? It has to be physically re-engineered. Like you're having to do electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, all that stuff has to be baked back into it because it's controlling that process. And so you can't just change something on a dime like you can with IT. Just download a new app. Okay, great, no problem. And some of the same technologies that at IT, they don't necessarily work in control system environments because there's different protocols and different other constraints. Like if you get malware on a PLC, you can't just re-image it or wipe it. You might have to replace it. So things like that.
Why is that? What's so special about PLC firmware that you can't just reinstall it? Or
well, again, it's you can. There are some cases, but again, some of them, what if it's so impacted, like and you take a case like Stuxnet, everything's pwned. You can't trust it. You might have a hidden bootloader in that system, so you can't trust it, right? And back then, things weren't digitally signed. They didn't have digitally signed firmware. They didn't have digitally signed anything. Now you're starting to see control systems that won't authenticate unless there's a hardware token matching the other hardware token in that frame where the PLC plugs in. So, yeah.
There was one question on here from Rick. He just sent it to me. He says, could Chris possibly explain the concept of air gapping and how effective is it really to preventing a cyber attack against a system?
All right. So yes, air gapping works, but when some people, especially folks in upper management, send to say air gap, they don't know what they're talking about. So an air gap means there's no connection period outside of that control system network. If you have, let's think of a simple one. You might have a PLC that's controlling an escalator, and it stands alone. And the only way to change it is you have to go there to change the settings on it. That's air gapped. That means there's no other things connected to it. Now, there's temporary connections when someone connects a laptop to make a change or things like that, but that's generally what we talk about when it's air gapped. Now, the large, most of the control systems are not. And there might be firewalls that's in between IT and OT, or data diodes, or unidirectional gateways, or sneaker net, a lot of back and forth on USBs. But the ones that are really effective are control systems where they don't allow mobile devices at all. They ban them. They do it like x-rays of your backpack of when you go in. They don't allow any USBs. They don't allow any other thing unless it's signed off to the T. And if you combine that with very strong physical security, that's a very secure system. And now I've seen some where they didn't do a physical assessment and someone has, like a keypad and, badge reader keypad. But if you look under the badge reader, it's got the PIN number that someone wrote underneath and it lets you in. So you have to have good physical security and an actual air gap where it's not connected. Otherwise, there's going to be a way in.
Yeah, for sure.
As an attacker.
So for those interested, okay. So another question I had as far as air gapping, right? So have you seen a lot of activity when you're talking about industrial systems and SCADA and the different PLCs, especially out in the field? Do you guys see a lot of RF tampering?
It depends. If it's in a public area, sure. You'll see, just people trying to connect to stuff or whatever. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere, Texas, and you got wet, it's probably not going to be an issue. It's something that needs to be fixed, right? But
What's really cool is some of the applications I've messed with SCADA. You can actually, this is how I got into SCADA really, is going to some of the places that had like the interfaces for the PLCs and getting demo copies of that software and setting up my own stuff and just messing with my own shit. And was like, okay, this is kind of cool. There's processes behind it. I had someone ask me a really funny question one time. They're like, how do you get Windows updates on SCADA systems? I was like, I don't know. If you're worried about updating a SCADA system with Windows patches, we definitely need to talk and have a pen test. But yeah, I think the majority of the people coming into security don't know a lot about SCADA or industrial systems because it's not part of the mainstream security, I think. But I think as time goes by, we're seeing a lot more of SCADA and some of that technology come into the prime view, especially after SolarWinds and Stuxnet and all that stuff. So we had a guy on not too long ago that used to work. He's a retired colonel for Israeli Defense Forces, and he worked on their cyber defense team. And we got to talking about Stuxnet. So what is your take on Stuxnet? Do you believe that the U.S. is involved, or do you believe it was strictly Israeli?
Yeah. I don't know personally because I don't have any visibility into that, but I mean, that's Ralph Wagner has a great TED talk about it. Even though he got some things wrong in it, he went back and did another video about it, but his analysis of it was spot on. He did the full reverse engineering. He actually figured out how the malware works. So check out there's To Kill a Centrifuge is a white paper he wrote.
Nice.
I can go grab the link. Anyway, it's a great thing. Nation states, they have the capability, and there's the only ones that we're really seeing this type of malware from.
I think they used that same malware on another compromise not too long ago, but it's an old version, a later version of Stuxnet. But that malware seemed to make its rounds through oil and gas and some other stuff as well. They also had some malware that was aimed at shipping as well. Shipping, I think, is another interesting area to look at security. Is big cargo ships and automated shipping and the systems they use on those crafts. And I know Rick probably knows a lot more about that than I do. Rick is one of our listeners. He's really involved in super yachting and security on super yachts. But a lot of like transportation, the curriculum structure, stuff like that is really just interesting. And I was always jealous of the guys that got to work in the SCADA stuff coming into security because I didn't have any access to that. I had, ideas and I had some background in electric and stuff like that, but SCADA is a totally different world.
It's definitely more expensive. You can't just go buy a brand new controller for a power plant. They're starting at like 25 grand. So. But you can get little things like things, contactable PLCs for maybe $1,000. Might be able to get. I have this all covered in that Hacker Halted talk. I tell you, some PLC kits that you can get or make.
Cool. I'm actually thinking about building a sort of like a smart city, and have like systems built into it for power and light and electric, water, transportation, all that stuff. But it's going to be kind of like a CTF, but it's actually going to be a physical village, right? So like during Christmas time, they have like the snow villages, right? We're going to build an actual village or a city with all the components that you would see like in a major city, and take turns hacking it and making lights go on and off, and some good stuff. But that's coming down the pipe. So a little bit about what we do, Chris, with the Haunted Hacker. Like, it's an open community, and we just give back knowledge. Like, if you go into our Discord, you see like we have probably, what, Ryan, 50 sections full of cool stuff, and just neat little like memes and educational stuff, and it's a really good group. And so I think that if what's that? Go ahead, Ryan.
Knowledge for everyone. Anyone who's keen to learn.
Yeah, for sure. So that's kind of what we do. I'm going to steal some of these links from you and put them into the Discord for some of the new people to check out. And also, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, too, anytime you have you hear of a conference, you might hear us talking about it in the ICS security folks. You might us hear talk about the beer ISAC. I know you put that in the link. I was a co-founder of the beer ISAC. Those are these different ISACs: water ISAC, oil and gas. Well, we created one called beer ISAC. Means that you just get together with someone who knows, and you're sharing information. You don't necessarily have to drink beer or whiskey, or you can drink water or coffee. It can be breakfast ISAC, just getting together, sharing knowledge, just like what we're doing here. And that's the great thing about it, is because that's how we learn, that's how we grow. And oftentimes the beer ISAC is way better than the official ISACs in sharing information. So
yeah, the official channels are a little difficult, especially when I worked in oil and gas. The official channels in oil and gas were so difficult to get knowledge and information from. It's ridiculous. So let's see. That's about it for the questions. Chris, you have any questions for me or the group, or for Ryan? No,
it's like, so I'm on Discord, but I haven't joined your Discord yet. I think I have every chat program known to man. Because of the pandemic. You have what are you on? I don't know. I'm on Google Plus, whatever. It's so tell me about the different channels you have in your Discord and things like that.
Sure. So we started the Discord shortly after we started the Haunted Hacker. And originally it was just going to be a place for the people in the group to hang out and socialize or whatnot. But I just made a decision to open that up to the public, and we had it open for a while. And during one of the podcasts, we got attacked through Discord. We since fixed that problem, and we made it invite only. And we share, the Discord invites with people that we can verify. We know who they are, and the good people, whatever. So some of the sections we have stuff for mental health. People don't want to, go to the public and try to find somebody to talk to. They can always talk to people, colleagues, whatnot, to get any kind of support or whatever. We have places for vulns, code. We have CTF fun. We have merchandise, of course. And we have like material for testing, study guides, stuff like that, free courses, stuff for women in tech, forensics. Really anything you could possibly think of within security that might be a topic we have. I don't know if we have industrial control systems. I would hope we do. If not, I'm sure I'll add it. What's that, Ryan?
No, we definitely do, man. Definitely.
Cool. So yeah, like they do a good job of adding stuff all the time. I mean, I'll jump on the Discord every once in a while, and I'll peek in, and there's always somebody adding some really cool content or a new tool that, new exploit code. So that's basically it. We don't charge anything to anybody. We don't, there's no pay service. It's all just a really open community and really good group of people. I really like that.
That's awesome.
I like that T-shirt, by the way, the PCAPs or it never happened. that's epic.
Yeah, actually, I was like, I was wearing a different shirt. I'm like, what? I'm going to be on camera. I need to wear a cool shirt. So this is one of my favorite sayings too, right? And I actually wore this in my DEF CON talk. And I was had it for a while, so it's kind of cool. But no, I'm just glad to someone thought to have me on a podcast. And Mike, I haven't seen you literally in 10 years.
Yeah.
You're looking great.
You too, man. You too. Congrats on the baby, bro. Congrats on the baby.
Yeah. And, we'll have to catch up more. And anyone that, if you follow me on Twitter, feel free to reach out to me, or on Discord now. I join the thing. So
Cool.
glad to share, because, who knows? I'm Frenchie asked, I'll just type in.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're too far from you, actually.
Come on down the trace. Come on down that trace.
Cool.
Off the mountain.
Yeah, off the mountain for sure.
So it's like lots of lots of good things that y'all are doing, sharing information, creating things, doing new ideas. I don't know how long I'll be doing security, but as long as they'll keeps being fun, and having a lot of fun things to do, meeting great people, that's great for me. One day I'll probably retire and just get on a tractor and just drive that around.
There you go.
Be a Luddite,
Yeah, I gotta say, security in general, the industry is a really great industry. I think we're pretty lucky to have the industry that we do and the people we have, because the majority of the people in our industry are really cool and just genuine people. But then, of course, just like any industry, you got to have your knuckleheads that cause problems and make it tough for everybody else. But yeah, man, it was great having you on. And dude, you're welcome in Discord 24/7. And, if you want to jump on the podcast anytime, it's every Saturday. Throw you a co-host, and you can toss on your video and help us interview people, and just make a community effort. But I really appreciate it, dude. It was really good catching up with you, and the best with the baby, and congrats to the family, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it very much. And to Mike and Ryan and all the others who asked questions and stuff. I think this is the second official podcast I've ever been on.
Nice.
I've been in security for a really long time. And we did a Beer ISAC one, but it hasn't even been published yet. So y'all actually might be my first InfoSec or security or hacker related podcast.
Oh, we will be, because it'll go up either tonight or tomorrow. So we'll definitely be the first. Right. But like I said, anytime, stop by. Anybody else have any questions before I end this? I'm gonna shut it down. Also, Chris, let's talk about doing another podcast later on, and maybe do a SCADA project, you and I, if you have time, and do a podcast down the road on that project. I think it'd be pretty cool. And Ryan, you can jump in, because I think that there's more people here that are interested in SCADA and PLC and industrial systems than just me and Ryan.
It's a great field to specialize in, because there's so much opportunity. There's probably not a business out there that doesn't have some kind of automation like that, even if it's building automation. Mm-hmm. So the sky's the limit, and people are hiring all over. We just hired a new person. We'll probably have more openings later this year. Just the same with every other control system specific company that has security, control system security, even pen testing. We do lots and lots of pen testing. So, nice. Keep those skills going, and you're gonna people that are interested in that field are gonna find lots of good fun work to do. So
cool. Absolutely. Ryan, did you have something else you want to add real quick before we jump off?
No, man, all good.
Good. And it's good to see you back again, Ryan, too. It seems like it's been forever since I've seen you. Good to see you doing good. Mate. Yeah. All right, guys. I will see you guys next weekend, and look for this on Sistrunk TV, Digital Anarchist, and on YouTube. And I'll send you those links, Chris, and y'all have a good one.
All right. Adios. Sounds great. Have a good weekend.